What's going on YouTube? It's Pelfrey and this is the Red Sea Reefer 250. The tank does look a little different. I did a little bit of work to it. I'm laughing because, as you know, in my previous video, I cracked the membrane housing on my RO unit. So I was able to get between 20 and 23-ish gallons of water to do a water change. And I wanted to get that done because the big green slimer that was over here started to show some signs of stress. And I wanted to take care of that with some water changes. So I got the water mixed up, I got the salinity correct, I got the temperature correct, I got all of that correct. I drained the water down about 50% on the tank, which did leave a ton of corals out into the air. But since I had the tank drained down, I decided I was going to take the big green slimer here and cut it up and cut the base of it off. So this white section here was a section that was not getting light because it was kind of tilted this way. So I cut it into 3 different sections and I re-glued it. Now, since I've done this, I have a flame hawk fish in here, or I had one, and I've wanted to get that fish out of here for a while. It's a bully, it picks on other fish, not to mention any new addition you add to the tank. That fish, the flame hawk, was going after aggressively, like super aggressively. The only way to get that fish out of the tank was to take every single rock out of the tank except for this piece of rock here. I was able to leave this one piece in, but otherwise I took every piece of rock out. So I used 2 10-gallon brute containers, 2 5-gallon containers, and I drained about 30 gallons of water out of the tank. And I took as much of the rock out and placed it into water that I could. Unfortunately, some pieces had to sit out in the open air until I could get that flame hawk out. And again, you know, I was not planning to try to fish the flame hawk out of the tank. It just wasn't in my plan. I was simply going to do a water change. Then I got to digging into the green slimer. Then I thought to myself, well, if I've gone this far, I may as well just try to get the flame hawk out of the tank because it's only been a problem. I end up leaving the rocks and some of the corals on the floor on some towels for probably 15 or 20 minutes. So kind of long, but not really. But I ended up getting the flame hawk out of the tank and I did a rescape because there was no way I was getting the rock work back in there the way that I had it before. And I wish that I could have got the rock work in there, and I'm probably gonna redo this again. But it is, you know, this big arch here that's pushed back on the overflow box as much as I can, but it's stable. And that was the most important part to me. It is more than likely gonna disrupt some corals for the time being. Some of them are still not happy. It's been like this for about 6 hours now. The green bird's nest should be a lot more fluffy. A piece did pop off of it there. The acans, some of them are still not so happy. The hammer colonies, again, they're not very happy. And it is gonna take some time. What I didn't really anticipate was, and you know, I should have thought about this, but I just kind of dove into it. I have all of these corals that are not only glued down to rocks, but they're encrusting on rocks. So I had to put them back in a fashion that they were gonna get flow and lighting. And that's just one thing that I really didn't think about when I started pulling all the stuff out of the tank. My mindset was I'm getting the flame hawk out of the tank, and that's that. So obviously, you know, this piece here, we've got an encrusted coral, encrusted coral, encrusted coral, and I re-glued the WWC slime ball there, and I re-glued this piece to the top there. But again, it's quite a few, anyway, encrusted corals that I wanted to make sure were out in the open, had the flow, and had the lighting that they need. Again, I'll probably be redoing the rock work. This piece and this piece are similar, like oval type pieces. I may just do away with one of those pieces. I'm not really sure yet. Or I don't know. I'm partial. I don't really like a lot of these rocks going up real high, because what's going to happen, hopefully, is the corals are going to grow up. They're going to get to the water line, and that's only like 5 inches till you get to the water line. So I don't know what the plan is. We got a really good view of the huge Trocus snail, and I was that's another thing. So when I pulled the rock work off, I made sure that I knew where this guy was, because it's huge. And it was on a rock that I pulled out and I put in a bucket, and I tried to pull him off of a rock. And the suction was so strong that I decided I wasn't gonna pull anymore, because I didn't want to harm the snail. And all this, I mean, this dude, it's hard. That's my thumb compared to it. It's not even a slight representation of how big that snail is. So anyway, this is the current view of the Red Sea Reefer 250. I don't know. I like it, but I don't. But what's most important is I got the Flame Hawk out of the tank, and I got the corals and everything back into the tank. And of course, this took way longer than I had anticipated. So where is the Flame Hawk? So if you come down here to the sump area, which he's gonna be hiding, because that's what this thing does, and that is exactly why I had to take the whole tank apart. But he is in the skimmer section somewhere. I don't know where. This is a little CJ pump that I use just to keep some stuff suspended. There he is, right there. He just went back into the darkness. But he is in the skimmer section now, and he will live in this section until I can figure out exactly what I'm going to do with him, whether I'm going to take him to the local fish store, sell them, give them away to somebody local. I'm not really sure yet. But he's still here. He's just not here. Also, I think that I figured out how to make some templates in Mobius. I adjusted my light schedule and saved it as a swatch, maybe. But for the last 5, 6, 7 minutes, the lights have stayed on white so that you're not watching a blue video, and it's worked out for me. So I'm hoping that I can use that swatch to take photos and videos going forward. So yeah, if you have a Flame Hawk in your tank, and the craziest thing about it is on Instagram, everybody, the couple people anyway, that has said they've had Flame Hawk fish, or they have Flame Hawk fish, they have been ideal citizens. And that can go with any fish. It just depends on the fish's personality. I used to have 2 clowns in this tank, and the reason that I don't have those anymore is because they've done the same thing that Flame Hawk done. Any new fish I added to the tank, those clowns would attack. I added a yellow wrasse to this tank many years ago. The clowns destroyed it quick, so quick, and I watched it happen. As soon as I took those clowns out and I started adding new fish to the tank, there was no issue. So I'm hoping I got the 2 wrasses, the yellow tang, and the coral beauty, which the coral beauty I've had for many, many years now, since I've started my first tank, I think. But I'm hoping that the hierarchy here works out to my favor. But with fish, you literally you never know. So stay tuned. We'll see what we do with the rock work. We'll see what happens to the Flame Hawk fish and where his new home will be. But I'm glad I got this done. I got a water change done, and as soon as I get the new membrane, I'm gonna make more water, and I'm gonna do another 20 to 25-ish gallon water change on the tank. Hopefully that stops some of the SPS issues that I've had going on. I mean, it's been, I think, 3 months now since I've done a water change, up until today, which I did, like a 20-ish gallon water change. So anyway, as always, I appreciate you following along. Check out the website at pelfrey.net. Check me out on Instagram at pelfreysreef. And I'll catch you on the next one.